Hi there, and welcome back to the Hub of Junior Golf Podcast. I'm Ryan Bird, joined as always by the founder of the Junior Golf Hub, Roger Nick. Roger, certainly spring is in the air. College golf, their conference tournaments are happening. The selection show for the NCAA, sending all the teams to regionals, will have already happened when this podcast indeed goes viral, as they all have, Roger. But pretty amazing stuff what's going out there with Nelly Korda, with certainly with Scotty Scheffler, with college golf as well. Golf is in, I'm not sure we've ever seen two dominant players at the same time on the men's and women's game as what Nelly is doing. And of course, what Scotty Scheffler is doing is, people want to say Rory. No, we haven't seen this since Tiger Woods.
No, we haven't. I mean, come on, 5 of 5 for Korda, and what is it, 4 of 5 now for Scheffler. The consistency has been, stellar. As Max Homa said, you'd want to hate this guy, but you just can't because he's such a good guy. But what the number one, right? I mean, that's what you want in your number one golfer in the world. I think a lot of that also resonates with Nelly Korda. I think you hear her, competitors say the same thing. What a nice competitor. Hard to compete against, right? But yet nice enough to say, hey, congrats on what you're doing. So really great time. And college golf is, kicking off into the tournament season. Ryan, like you said, I mean, you've been calling some tournaments, this week. So good stuff.
Let me ask you this: with women's golf, certainly in the United States, college golf is the pathway for men. It is, once in a blue moon, and I mean a blue moon, that an Akshay Bhatia will go straight from junior golf and turn professional. I mean, it never happens in the U.S., or I shouldn't say never. I mean, it's less than 1%. Women's golf, not the same story, though. It is we really used to see it in tennis, where you would have 14, 15-year-olds that were playing major championships and contending, and golf moving in that direction. We'll ask our guest later, Vanderbilt's head coach, Greg Allen, a little bit about, could golf get to where men's golf is if the NCAA and the LPGA just create an LPGA Tour U? What are some of the things that aren't similar? It's shocking to me that women's golf, as successful as PGA Tour U does not have that same platform. It's just shocking to me.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't, right? I mean, because they see so many of the girls going straight from amateur golf into professional golf. So I don't think it has the same allure that the PGA does, PGA Tour. No offense to any LPGA players or the LPGA. It just hasn't been the pathway, right? I mean, where the PGA Tour is. So I think we will see that a little bit more, Ryan. I think you're going to see now with the national program that's been launched, more, let's call it more player development. I think is going to be more, resonating more around, players staying in development longer, which then may in fact change how that is looked. And college golf is a development platform for players as well on the girls and women's tour.
Do you think the Augusta National Amateur has helped collegiate golf in the U.S.?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you had the former champion, was it Lindbergh? I think went back to LSU just for that reason, right? Wanted to have another crack at it, another experience of that. I think girls are staying, in college that are, dominating college golf a little bit longer for that reason, to go and play there, right? I mean, kudos to that tournament, that event. Let's get some other ones on the schedule for them.
Right. And certainly, when you look at what, you take Scotty Scheffler, he of course went to Texas, and, Scotty Scheffler really, he's kind of an anomaly in the route he took. I mean, he really was your, not crazy travel junior golfer, dominate Texas, dominate AJGA, get recruited, go to Texas, become a really good player at Texas, get his spot on the Korn Ferry Tour, win on the Corn Ferry Tour, earn his spot onto the PG. I mean, this is not a situation where, you have, Miles Russell, who is a hot name right now, the 15-year-old that, I mean, this is a kid that certainly everyone knows about. And what he's doing in junior golf and now at the professional golf level as a 15-year-old is something more we see in women's golf with younger development. With that said, we welcome in the head coach of Vanderbilt, Greg Allen. Greg, thanks so much for joining us on the Hub of Junior Golf podcast. Roger, Nick, and myself really happy to have you here. The discussion we're having right now, we'd love to bring you in on, is college golf in the United States in the men's game is the pathway to the PGA Tour. And you're really seeing the stars of the men's game go from college to the PGA Tour. Certainly PGA Tour U is a huge part of keeping players in college all 4 years, because that's the best way to get to the tour is through PGA Tour U and not having to go through some of the other feeder tours. The girls, the women, obviously don't have that, coach. And with that, obviously you have someone like a Nelly Korda and more American young players that, I mean, it's not a lot, but there certainly are some players that completely skip the college experience and turn professional in the women's game at a much younger age. First question, how much would PGA Tour, LPGA Tour University help programs like Vanderbilt and college golf in the women's game?
Yeah, great question, and it's kind of a hot topic right now on our side, because we need something, because the current climate's not quite working. If you look at the pathway is for them to go to Q school, and Q school conflicts with our college season, and that just doesn't work. So I don't know what the right answer is, but I know what we got going right now doesn't quite work for college coaches when you're going to tournaments without some of your best players.
I mean, Duke, just to bring up an example, the Duke ladies just played the ACC tournament without their best player because, of course, she got an exemption that she had to take. I mean, as a head coach, there's no way you're going to tell a player not to take that. But, boy, you also got to, when that phone call, when you hang up that phone, you got to be saying, are you kidding me? I just lost my best player?
Yeah, I know. I think Florida State did the same thing. Like, it's just, we're all getting ready for our biggest tournament of the year, the NCAA regional, and our kids are going into final exams, and we got 2 weeks before we find out tomorrow, and my kids are getting ready for U.S. Open qualifying. So it's just, it's kind of broken right now, and I'm not sure how we fix it.
I try to explain to people, I mean, the Symetra Tour or the Epson Tour, there's no money, unfortunately. I mean, reality, let's just be real on this show, Hub of Junior Golf podcast. There's no money. And it is really difficult to earn your way to the next level from that feeder tour. If college had that direct path to the tour as PGA Tour U, and that, that there was no Q school, you win it, you go. Do you think that right there, how much would that catch the attention of the best collegiate players in this country?
Well, I think it definitely would. I mean, it just, you said it, there is no money. You can't, at least guys can go on the Corn Ferry and make some kind of living. You're not going to make a living on the Epson Tour. All you're trying to do is get your LPGA Tour card. And then once you get out there, there's just, it's apples and oranges when you start comparing men's golf to women's golf. At least in the college game, we got Title IX and gender equity helping us out. Or when you turn professional, you're kind of on your own. And thankfully we got social media, we got podcasts like this that are trying to shine a light on to try to level the playing field. But it's not quite there. I was excited to see the stat about the women's March Madness final. I think had a better viewer rating than the men's final, so that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. But on that note, though, Coach, thinking about the recruiting process now, if the LPGA U was in existence for a college program like yourself, I mean, do you think, and wouldn't you think that are more of the junior golfers, instead of skipping college, it would actually make it more appealing for them to come in to a college program that's going to offer that opportunity for them to get their LPGA card?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and some of the best players on the LPGA tour didn't play college golf, and
Right.
and so if you look on the men's side right now, Gordon Sargent just made a big announcement. He's got the accelerated PGA Tour card and is choosing to come back to Vanderbilt for his senior year, which I think is a testament to Coach Limbaugh and to Gordon for the value of that Vanderbilt degree and how much fun he's having playing college golf. You can always come back to college and get your degree, but you're never going to come back between the ages of 18 and 22 and get that degree.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's talk a little bit about your program. Obviously, playing in as difficult a conference in women's golf as there is in the SEC. You've had great teams over the years with a lot of great players. Vanderbilt is one of those schools where you do have to toe the line of you are going to one of the most demanding academic institutions in the world. How much does that enter into your recruiting pitch? But also, there are just some players that you just can't go to because the academic side isn't there.
Yeah, we definitely have to be very selective, but we also have great administration here at Vanderbilt that want us to be able to recruit the best players in the world. And then once they get here, if they choose to come to Vanderbilt, we've got a really good support system in place with our academic center. I've been fortunate enough to have the same academic advisor for the last 15 years or so, and our girls are always about a 3.5 or better GPA. And so, but it does go back into recruiting, where we do have to recruit a young lady that does care about academics, that it's got to be the right fit for her, got to be the right fit for us. It's definitely doable. But if you're wanting to just go play golf and practice and then go home and just sit around and watch Netflix at night, then Vanderbilt's probably not it for you, because you do have to put some time and effort into your studies. But very doable. And our kids are excelling in the classroom and on the golf course. So lucky to be here, lucky to have the folks behind us that are supporting us as coaches and then supporting our young ladies as student athletes.
Well, Coach, I mean, being in Nashville, it's a pretty hot area to be in too. That's a nice recruiting spot. Had lived there years ago, so I know that's a great spot over there. You got a lot of great places to play golf. Where are you guys playing your golf these days?
Yeah, not sure, Roger, last time you were in Nashville, but you're right. It seems to be the hot place in the country right now. People are either wanting to move here or they're wanting to come visit on the weekends, but it is growing like crazy. We're blessed to have the Vanderbilt Legends Club down in Franklin as our home golf course. It's been our home now for probably almost 20 years. Vanderbilt owns the place, and we've got two great golf courses here. And we're actually in a double wide trailer right now because we're expanding our golf facilities, our home right across the street. So we should be in there next week. We've almost tripled the size of a golf house, and so it's like in all of college athletics, it's a war in recruiting, and recruiting is all about facilities, and we've got great ones here. We got this building. We redid our short game facility last year, and then having access to two golf courses. But we're also fortunate to have a lot of great golf courses in the Nashville area that let us come out and play a little bit here and there.
Yeah, no, that's a great facility. I remember when that was first built, before Vanderbilt even took it over. So
yeah.
I do remember that. Great spot there. The golf house right there on property.
Yeah, really good spot. The Tom Kite and Bob Cup design, and we've hosted a national championship back in 2012. We've hosted a couple regionals. The LPGA played here back in the early 2000s, so it's championship caliber for sure.
Well, Coach, I got a question for you. I you know what? I know you love basketball. Nails told me that you couldn't take him inside.
Who? No way. I took them inside. There's no doubt. No doubt. I do love basketball. Growing up in Kentucky, that's a way of life in the bluegrass state, they say. And so yeah.
I don't know. Chris said you couldn't handle him in the paint.
There's no way. He's messing with you. Absolutely messing with you.
That's great.
Coach, I do want to ask you a little bit about Vanderbilt recruiting. Do you do the recruiting as far as or do the girls, the families that want to play at Vanderbilt have to recruit you first? Where does that process start?
Great question, and probably a little bit of both. We get a lot of emails, a lot of interest in Vanderbilt, and you know, like we talked about earlier with the money not being there as a professional. I mean, you got to be a really good player to make a lot of money in this game. So that puts a bigger value, I think, on academics, because a Vanderbilt degree hopefully opens up a lot of doors for you in the real world away from golf. And so we do get a lot of interest, a lot of emails, but we also we get our sights set on players early on. You know, I'm sure y'all talk a lot about the recruiting rules and the way they have changed over the years. We're all getting ready for this big June 15th day coming up, and so the class of 2026 is you know, that we've got our list and we're ready to make those phone calls. So I'd say a little bit of both, Ryan, on how that works for us.
Hey, Coach, on that note, so the 3 do's and the 3 don'ts. What do you think on the recruits, from the recruit side? What are the 3 things you look for that they need to do, and 3 that you go, just don't do those things?
Yeah, well, obviously scores are important, and you know, being able to get out there and physically watch young ladies play is important to us. I mean, we can look at a resume and we can see numbers, and numbers speak for themselves, but we're looking for how they acted on the golf course, how they treating their fellow competitors, how they treating the volunteers, how they treating mom and dad after the round, how they reacting to a bad shot or a missed putt or a double bogey. I tell recruits all the time that they don't want to hear this, but I'm okay watching them shoot 80 because I want to see how they're acting, and I want to see how they come back the next day and respond to that. And so we talk a lot about attitude and effort and things that you can control and things that you got to just let go of. And so those are things that you really can't see on a resume, but you got to go watch them in person.
Coach, I think this is also this is a really important part of women's golf. Another giant difference is, and maybe I'm wrong on this, so this is why I asked the question, but if you polled every Power 5 Division I boy recruit, it's going to be in the 90 percentile that they're going to win the Masters and be a professional golfer. We all know that doesn't work out that way. I do feel that if you did the same poll for girls, a lot of them, to your point, the destination is to get to college, as good a school as they can get to, play college golf, but the goal is not to become a professional golfer. My question is, when you take the final carrot away, meaning as a junior golfer, it's to get to college, it's train, it's work, it's eat right, it's PDI, it's do everything you can to get noticed, get recruited, and get to college golf. But then when you make it there, if the goal is no longer to go any further than that, do you ever see a player, when that carrot is away, that change is difficult for you to predict on how that's going to affect their game?
Yeah, a little bit, Ryan. It really goes back to the recruiting process and that June 15th phone call, and really doing our best to get to know that young lady. And the other part of the recruiting process is, you know, we make that phone call June 15th, but yet we can't bring them on campus until August. And so August, they're getting ready to go back to school. We're getting ready for classes. And so I feel like that rule needs to be tinkered with a little bit. But I want it to be the young lady's dream to go to college and play college golf, and not mom and dad's dream. And you see that a lot. And I was just talking to a recruit we had on campus today that, again, you're 18 to 22 years old. Your dreams are probably going to change. So we do see a few young ladies that when they get here, you know what, they come here with dreams of playing on the LPGA tour, but once they really get into an everyday routine of college golf and waking up early and going to workouts and going to practice and then going back to study, it does change a few minds that maybe this isn't really what I want to do. But again, if we do our due diligence in recruiting, hopefully we're going to we're going to err on the side of bringing in kids that want to continue down that path when they get here, that are used to doing that kind of work before they, during junior golf. And most of their junior golf is played in the summer when they're not having to worry about school. So it's that freshman year, first semester is definitely an eye-opening experience for a lot of young ladies and guys too.
Yeah, Coach, with that being said, we always ask this of our coaches and teams that are on the program. What's a day in the life like? I mean, obviously you guys are a very competitive program, very competitive school. These young women coming in and competing. What's a day look like?
Good question. What is today's Tuesday? So today's a reading day for Vanderbilt. Yesterday was the last day of school, but fall and spring, when we're in the school season, we're Monday's a day off from the golf course. They can still come out here, practice on their own, but NCAA rules, we have to give them a day off a week, and for us it's Monday. Tuesday, Thursday is up early doing a team workout in the gym. They're in class during the mornings, and hopefully at the golf course by 1 or 2 o'clock. We share our time with the guys here. So one day they're using the facility, we'll go out and play. We'll flip it the next day, and usually spending our weekends qualifying. And you kind of hit the ground running in August with the fall season. So you spend late October, November kind of catching your breath, getting ready for final exams, and then the spring season is just a grind from start to finish. We're getting ready, like I said earlier, for our biggest tournament of the year, but they're also getting ready for final exams. So we try to split the spring season up into 2 halves and let them have a weekend or two to get home, to see mom and dad, to see a golf instructor if they need to do that before we get into April and May, which is kind of what we all get excited about. It's the fun part of the season, championship season, and it's the players' time of season. And we as a coach, I just want to stay out of their way and let them go out there and do their thing.
Yeah, Coach, you just mentioned something that we've heard a lot of questions about, having your own coach. Obviously, you were a coach there at the team, with the team, and managing what's going on. But some parents, some players, back to your point of whose dream is this, right? Is it the parents or the kids? But they do have their own instructors. They have their own physical guys. They have their own team, if you will. How do you feel about those players, especially now you're getting ready for the biggest tournament of the year, maybe tinkering around and just kind of, are they going to be ready for that?
Yeah, tinkering around makes me really nervous this time of year, and we let our girls. We had a weekend last weekend. We let them go out of town if they wanted to, and I've been doing this long enough that when there's some tinkering going on, we want a few rounds of golf under their belt before we go play a tournament. So that's what will be happening this weekend. But I think we've never told a young lady they've got to stop working with their golf instructor once they get to Vanderbilt. We encourage them to keep working with that person, and we like to be the eyes and ears on campus here because they're obviously not here, and so it works well. We've got some really good instructors working with our ladies. We've got a guy named Joe Hallett that is one of the best in the business here at the Legends Club, and a few girls have worked with him over their time. But they usually come to college golf with a golf instructor that's gotten them that far, and we certainly don't want to get in their way either. So we try to have a nice blend of our practices where the girls are going to do things that we've got set up for them, but then also have 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, whatever it is they need to do some of the drills that they're working on with their golf instructor. But bottom line is, when we hop on the airplane to head somewhere, we want to be sharp and ready to go, and make sure that we're taking the 5 girls that are playing their best at that time.
Coach, I want to touch on June 15th a little bit. Certainly for our audience, that is a day that the younger parents and players are learning about, and certainly a large portion of our audience have a big red circle on the calendar about that day. How important is that day to Vanderbilt? And what I mean by that is that a day that you will reach out to, cast a wide net, if you will, to that new incoming class, whether it be email or phone call? Is it a fluid date where it could be the 16th or 17th? where do you stand on how important June 15th is, and how big of a net ultimately, because it is just starting the process, would you cast?
Yeah, I would say our net doesn't go real wide. We already have a pretty good list going of girls that we've gotten emails from, girls that have expressed interest and that we have seen play and that we like what we see. And it's funny because sometimes we'll make a lot of calls June 15th, but sometimes we may wait a day or so on a kid. But it is important to start getting to know these kids, to see if they are somebody that we want to keep going down the road with. We try to be super honest. I don't want the parents and the players to be honest with us. And if we're making a phone call on June 15th and a young lady has no desire in Vanderbilt, I want to hear it. I don't want to waste all summer watching them play if they know that they don't want to come here. And that's fine, because not everybody wants to come and put in the time and the work that's required here. And so we'll call a handful of kids and then start trying to set up visits for August for them to to get on campus.
That's really good. So what's one of the best stories you've ever had when you made that call on the 15th, or when you've called?
Well, we've actually made a few offers on June 15th, and a young lady on our team right now, Tilly Claggett, is she's a sophomore from the Woodlands, Texas, and a kid that had come to our camp. She grew up in Canada, in Calgary, swimmer, a unbelievable athlete. Probably does more in the workout gym than some of the football players. The girl is an animal in there, can do more pull-ups than most guys, and so she's a beast in there, and hits it 1.5 miles long. And like, there's a kid we really wanted, and so we made an offer the first day, and I don't think she was quite expecting it, and so she's like, well, let me talk it over with my mom and dad. So she calls back, and then about an hour later, and committed. I was fired up. I had my hat on. and slammed it in the floor. I was pretty jacked. I had my sunglasses on the hat, broke my sunglasses. So she still owes me a pair of nice sunglasses. She's working out pretty good for her. She's turning into a really good player. Was all freshman last year and hopefully be all SEC this year.
That leads me down a few questions. Certainly for all colleges and for coaches, everything did change with COVID. Everyone was given another year, which it really disrupted the cycle that has forever been NCAA sports. I mean, players leave, the new class comes in, and then all of a sudden there's not a class leaving. How did you handle that? And are you glad that it's kind of finally over, as that last group is kind of exhausting that COVID year?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, and I felt bad for the junior golfers that were expecting to have offers or spots on teams, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, there's the seniors aren't leaving. I think I probably speak for a lot of us when I say that we're probably ready for the COVID era to be over with. Yeah. We've got a young lady on our team now that's a fifth year, and so she's the last of the fifth years, and she's been wonderful for us. She's a two-time All-American, Selena Saddle-Cow, and I think she's probably ready to move on as well. And it is definitely different. We don't know if we had enough lockers for everybody because our rosters grew. And, I think on the women's side, you're probably looking anywhere from 6 to 9 girls on the roster at any given time. And now you've probably got 9, 10, 11, 12 girls at different places. We've had 11 before, and which is a lot for golf. And so, yeah, I think we're probably all ready to move on from having those inflated roster sizes for sure.
Coach, as we're drawing close to an end here, give us a message that you want the audience to know. What's a message for these recruits out there, these parents and kids?
Well, I'd say enjoy the ride. My son is a senior in college right now. He played basketball through high school, and I got to go in a few. He didn't play college basketball. He wanted to be a frat boy. He he had some offers, and it was cool as a dad to be on the other side. I would just encourage moms and dads and the young the young golfers to just enjoy this ride, and to I'll also say that you're in control of the ride, and don't let coaches put a ton of pressure on you with deadlines on offers and that sort of stuff. Like, do your due diligence, get to know the players, get to know the coaches, get to visit the campus. Don't make too many decisions just based on that first phone call. Like, really get to know the coaches and the players, because this is where you're going to spend the next 4 years of your life, and that's where you're going to do the most growing and learning of your lifetime up until now, is that 18 to 22 years old. So enjoy the ride. It's going to go fast. And go to a place that you love, that you can see yourself learning and growing and developing as a golfer, but more importantly as a person.
Wonderful message. Last thing from me, that email before June 15th from junior golfer to you, or, for that matter, any coach that they're sending to, a little advice. What should be in the email or the handwritten letter? Should a swing video be attached? Scores, schedule, why they love Vanderbilt, what stands out to you, and ultimately what makes it easier for you when you receive that message from them that they love Vanderbilt and would like to be considered?
Yeah, all the above there, Ryan. I do still love a good handwritten note. Love that, and we have our girls do that when we get home from a tournament. We'll write a handwritten note to the pro, the coach, the sponsors, the volunteer coordinator, that sort of stuff. So that still goes a long way here at Vanderbilt for us. A video is great if you can include a video. Golf scores are great. I mean, a place like Vanderbilt, they just kind of, the emails we're getting are overwhelming us with GPA, and that's important, but it's still, my job's all about having good golf scores, and we'll figure out how to make that GPA work here. But golf scores are super important. I would say a phone number to your golf instructor, so that we can get to know them a little bit and start learning a little bit about your golf swing, that sort of thing. But short and sweet. I was fortunate enough to coach with John Fields at the University of Texas. That's when I first started coaching, and George Hannon was the old coach there that coached Kite and Crenshaw and all the greats, Justin Leonard. And he always said, I'm not looking for a weather report, just give me the number. And not a big weather report, but just the basics. What kind of stroke average you got? Give us a video, give us a golf instructor phone number, and maybe a few grades. But anyway, short and sweet, always good for me.
Awesome. Well, Coach, we know it's a busy time of year, and we really appreciate you making some time for us on the Hubba Junior Golf Podcast. Best of luck with the rest of the way, and continue your success at Vandy. It's been great to watch you and admire your program so much.
Well, thanks, guys. Y'all are doing great with this Junior Golf Hub, and it's really cool. A platform for moms and dads and the kids to kind of learn a little bit more about college golf. So thanks for what y'all do.
I appreciate that, Coach. Have a great day.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
See ya. Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, there you go, Roger. I think we oversay this, and I apologize, but that is another one where you finish the interview and you say, wow, that's a coach I'd love to go play for. A lot of great information there. At the end of the day, we like to entertain, Roger, you more than me, but we are about information and equipping those that watch and listen to the podcast with things that ultimately will help them and their junior golfer down the road. And I think he had a lot of messages in there that fun interview, but also a lot of messages of what's the best way to go about this process. We know it's intimidating. We know it can be scary. If you're not top 20 in America, we know there's uncertainty of where your son or daughter ultimately fits in, what's best for them. So being able to equip our listeners with a little information, it certainly doesn't help. But it goes back at they love the athlete. I think that's probably the biggest disconnect, Roger. The number one disconnect with junior golfer family and college coaches is I feel like the majority of junior golfers just golf, especially if they're in the big three hubs of California, Texas, and Florida, and it becomes a 12-month-a-year thing. And the reality is, and we're talking about the best coaches in America, they always come back to, we love athletes, we love other sports, we love potential of an athlete, more so than a robot that has been hitting 5 hours of a 5-foot putt 7 days a week since they were 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a better way for them to say, you know what, we know athletes who are on other team sports. They've dealt with other people around them. They are a part of a team. They've learned how to deal with those things. They've learned how to deal with adversity with each other, right? And that's a hard thing to do as a singular sport like golf. You don't have anybody to express your frustrations with other than the golf club. Maybe the ground if the club hits the ground pretty hard, you know. So I think development in itself too is just so fundamentally sound when you have an athlete who picks up golf skill, something again that we talk a lot about on this show. You know, just being the best athlete and acquiring the skills and let that develop over time. So, you know, we hear it over and over and over. I hope the parents and I hope these athletes are hearing it. It's not about specializing in golf at age 5 or 8 or 10 or 12. Go out, pick up other, you know, basketballs, gloves, skates, you know, whatever, basketball, go play, you know, enjoy the sports, enjoy golf, and you get serious about it, then you can focus on golf, right? So
the other thing is, you know, Greg talked quite a bit about June 15th. Obviously, that is the day that recruiting opens after your sophomore year. The Junior Golf Hub rankings have been a monster hit. JGR is an explosion in the junior golf community. We know coaches will be using JGR to formulate their list of players. So we encourage everyone to get on juniorgolfhub.com and check out the new ranking system. Familiarize yourself with it. There are a lot of differences from past systems that may have been used. This will be the system of record. We know that the coaches have endorsed it. The coaches are endorsing it. The hub has given them what they wanted in a junior golf ranking. It's important for the audience to know 9 holes of competitive golf is all it takes to actually get on JGR. So for anyone that is just coming up or is reaching the June 15th, or even if they are towards the end of their junior career that are getting serious about it, they need to go to the juniorgolfhub.com and check out the new JGR rankings, as that is going to be ultimately what every coach in this country uses to formulate that first list, Roger, to start the process. They're going to go to JGR. They're going to put a filter in that ultimately gives them the kind of list that they're searching for. I know the response, Roger, has been incredible from the junior golf community to JGR. And we're just excited that, you know, we're just starting this journey with them. And finally, a ranking system that is for everyone. That includes the coaches and the players. There's no discrimination. There's no pushing kids to not play events anymore. It's about inclusion. It's about playing golf. It's about having fun. It's about playing as much golf as you can play, getting better, and giving the coaches, Roger, what they want.
no doubt. I mean, Ryan, you heard it again today from Greg is, you know, play golf, love it. You know, we want players who love to play golf, not, you know, just kind of playing the ranking game. So it's why we did it. One good announcement or one announcement I want to make, Ryan, is that going forward, there is a 30-day free trial on the rankings. So, you know, click on the juniorgolfhub.com, click on that, opens up, sees your tournament score, sees what's going on. And let's get you in there using it.
Yeah, that's incredible. As I said, the response has been overwhelming, certainly from the NB3 platform. We know, I mean, there's no way anyone could have predicted this volume of people around the world going to the best international ranking system. It's a great sign, but with thousands of people going on per day, If you gave it a try on the launch day and couldn't get in, obviously it was because of the sheer volume of people. Try it again, especially with that offer that Roger just gave of a 30-day free trial. That allows you to actually get in, parents, and see how this system works, and then it will explain it for itself of how it's the best system ever out there. So we love the fact that the thousands are going on a day, Roger. It was needed, and the world has obviously, by their reaction to JGR, has spoken that yeah, they're coming in and checking out the Junior Golf Hub, and it seems to be a win-win for everyone involved.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, if we can get more players participating, coaches seeing more players participate, the parents having, not have to worry about what event is the best event or this or that. Now, obviously, there are going to be, higher tiered events, but the reality is play golf. You're not going to get punished for it.
Love it. Awesome. So we thank Coach Greg Allen from Vanderbilt. Wonderful interview. We thank you, as always, for watching. Keep the comments coming. It is amazing the response that we're getting out in the golf community as this podcast just continues to it's hit a chord, Roger. It is amazing to me how many college coaches now, I'm running into them all over, that they are actually quietly, privately watching the Hub Junior Golf podcast every week because they want to hear what the other coaches are doing and what they have to say. So yeah. It's been neat. Certainly it was designed for the players and the families, but I'm pleasantly surprised how many coaches are putting this in their weekly rotation of podcasts.
Yeah, I love it. Actually, since you mentioned that, yeah, I had a coach. I bumped into a coach in North Carolina recently and was like, hey, when am I getting my chance? I've seen all of these other guys on. Where am I going to get in? Or when am I going to get in? So, well, yeah.
Hey, if you're not on the Hub, you might be falling behind the recruiting war. So we'll get everyone on there.
Yeah.
But thank you, and thanks everyone for watching. Keep the comments coming. Certainly, if there's something you want to see, somebody you want to hear from, we will do our best to satisfy that request. For Roger, Nick, our director and producer, Michael, Nick, I'm Brian Burr. We'll see you back here real soon on the Hub of Junior Golf Podcast.